joining us here to kick things off. You just saw him on the Roku channel about an hour plus ago because that's the spot that is streaming Good Morning Football Overtime every single day. And Good Morning Football moving its way to Los Angeles to the NFL Network studios. And from said show, our friend Kyle Brandt in person.
In studio. This is so cool. Rich, I have been on the show many times over the phone, over Zoom.
Correct.
I have never been here. I am blown away by this place.
Thank you, sir.
If you're just watching the clips or watching the show, you have no idea the breadth of this place out to the parking lot. It's like there's memorabilia and it's like a museum. It's like what I imagine like Jim Irsay's basement to look like. Just like they got cool stuff everywhere. You can't walk without running into some stuff. This is great.
We have a lot of stuff.
You know what I mean?
I've never heard that analogy, but I will accept it.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, like John Lennon's guitar pick is sitting right next to
Stevie Nicks' mic stand is right here. That's the real one.
Next to Johnny Unitas' jockstrap, you know.
But I don't know. I was asking the crew, like, has anyone ever been on the show more times than I have without being in here?
Good
because
question.
I've called in dozens of times and I've never been in here. It's really cool.
I'm glad.
This is awesome.
Thanks,
Rich.
brother. Good to have you here.
I'm fired up.
I'm fired up to have you. And it was fun being on yesterday's Good Morning Football Overtime
Thank
debut.
you for doing it.
Oh, please. I'm, obviously happy to do anything with you and the rest of the gang. A Good Morning Football, a show that I adore, and I'm thrilled it's back. And obviously now here on the Roku channel. Let's just jump into first order of business.
Okay.
What does it feel like as a Chicago Bears fan?
I'm not nervous already.
No, to be the it team.
I know.
The Bears are the it team of 2024. They're hard knocksing. They got the kid that everybody can't wait to see play.
I know.
That's being equated to, I'll say it, the guy that wasn't selected, but Trubisky was. Yes. I mean, all of that being in that cauldron of emotion.
Yeah.
What's going on with you?
I'm getting nervous as you're talking about it. What is Eminem talking about? Mom spaghetti? Like my palms are sweaty right now. As we're sitting here right now, I'm walking in. The Hard Knocks trailer just dropped. I haven't even got a chance to watch it yet. Mm-hmm. And you hear those four notes that do, 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 do. And you're like, oh my God, they're talking about the Bears? Oh. I just got goosebumps. It's strange. It's scary. And it's unprecedented. Never in my lifetime, even some of the good Bears teams, Cutler teams or whatnot, there's nothing like this. And it's scary, Rich, because it's not like they're the team just because it's all coming together this year.
Yes.
It's also new and unproven. We don't know anything about Caleb or Odunze. We barely know a little bit about the head coach, Eberflus. So it's really, really scary. But I remember coming on the show when Justin Fields came in. And I remember I just said, Rich, this has to work. It has to work. And now 3 years later, I'm looking at Caleb. I'm like, this has to work. This is the real one that has to work.
I'd agree, though.
Yep.
And I just think Ryan Poles, the GM, is sitting back. If I was him, I'd just be smoking a big cigar and saying, look, I've done my job. I have given you every toy to play with and every surrounding. Now we'll see if you can play, kid. Go get it, because I can't put anyone else on the field with you.
Yeah, we had Albert Breer in that chair 2 days ago say that, 2 shows ago, say that the Bears utilized their visits with Caleb Williams during the draft evaluation period to install the offense. Mm-hmm. That they were like, screw it, we're taking him. There's not going to be any meetings. There's not going to be any internal hand-wringing. This is the kid. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
And we're going to basically... forget, let's see what he knows when we put him on the grease board. Right. Let's put our plan on the grease board and start reviewing it with him. They did that.
I watched the clip with Albert Breer. I referenced it this morning on NFL Network.
Great.
And they have had a plan from the get-go. It's like they're at a bar, and instead of all this small talk, you want to just get out of here? You want to get a cab home? Let's not go through the motions. I think you like me. I definitely like you. I got an Uber X coming right now, and let's party. That's what they did.
Well, I don't know if it's an Uber X when you're talking about Rome Odunze and then everybody else.
XL. Wow. Yeah, XL for sure.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's my first reaction was they have so many players they've put out there. If you talk about already Komet and then Gerald Everett and DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, he's not going to see all those guys when he walks into his huddle for the first time because they literally can't fit in the huddle. They have too many players. They need 2 Ubers for their offense. Like they have to go in a second Uber. They can't fit on the field. So again, it's this thing where it's like all of the postmortem on Justin Fields was what the Bears didn't do or what he could have done. And there's a lot of conversation on all of that. I mean, I remember the dark era of Bears football where we were trying to convince ourselves that Darnell Mooney was Marvin Harrison. Like it was a tough time. They've got everything now. It is if he can't play with this chessboard and with him installing the offense before he's even a Bear,
right?
When can you?
Well, Caleb just hit Rome on a touchdown in 11-on-11.
There you go.
We're back.
There you go.
It's not just that too. Also, that makes it feel real. It's the defensive side of the ball is kind of set. Can you say that? I mean, because they did have one of the best defenses in the NFL from midway through last season to the finish. They picked up Montez Sweat, and a lot of folks at the time were like, what's Ryan Poles doing? Like, why would he be hitting that side of the ball when there's so many other issues with Justin Fields on the other side? Now it looks like a genius sort of, heads-up maneuver to shore up that side of the ball. And maybe that was what kept Eberflus still in the fold, right?
Definitely. I don't think a lot of people were watching a ton of Bears football in the last regular season. Their secondary in particular put up numbers that have not been seen in the league since the Legion of Boom. I texted this morning before we went on the air. I have a good friend who works in the Bears, works with the Bears. He's on the field. He's in all the offices. Yeah. I said, give me the vibe. Give me the vibe off the air, off the record. What's the Bears camp like? And I want the Caleb and stuff. And he goes, this defense is crazy. And I go, what do you mean crazy? He's like, they could be the best defense in the league. They are going to carry this team. They're amazing. And this is a guy who's not on the record. He usually is very self-deprecating about the Bears. All he wanted to talk. I said, what about Caleb? Caleb will get there. He'll be good. The defense is awesome. So I got excited from that. It's pretty cool, Rich. They're the it team.
They are.
They're the it team.
Well, obviously, the story going into the season, one that, we'll be talking about here, you'll be talking about in your shop, and our shop collectively on the network, is, can the Chiefs three-peat? I mean, we haven't entered a season in 2 decades with that question not only being available for us to talk about, but being a realistic question to ask. That could be answered in the affirmative. So that's obviously that storyline. But the Bears are an it team. They really are. There's no doubt.
As Schrager was going through the list of teams that tried to three-peat over the years, everybody from Pittsburgh to the Patriots. I mean, the fact that the Brady Belichick Patriots never did it tells you how difficult it is.
Well, Champ Bailey kind of personally helped end that in that divisional playoff game.
And all that.
He fumbled through the end zone, by the way.
Is that right?
Oh, the best.
Just saying.
Okay.
Is that right? That's the take? They didn't win 3 in a row, though, Brock.
No, but Benjamin Watson caught him from behind and tackled him, and the ball went through the end zone, but they called it a touchdown.
Is that right?
You probably still would have lost that game anyway, don't you think?
That wasn't their day.
I don't think that.
Okay. It just wasn't their day.
No, it wasn't their day.
But I also feel like last year was not the Chiefs' year. Like that was not a great Chiefs team in the scheme of them.
As late as Christmas Day.
Exactly. Terrible. Destroyed by the Raiders. And it's like... Some of those Jordan Bulls teams, like they would get down. I mean, this is not their best team. Pippen's whining. He's not paid. They've had some injuries, and they would still win. The fact that Chiefs team won, and then, my God, we start training camp, and in the first 2 seconds of the Chiefs being on the field, Mahomes to Worthy deep for this lightning bolt. Come on now.
It's not fair.
It was
ridiculous.
It was. I every once in a while I'll go back and I'll watch the video for the first time that Steve Jobs was up on stage introducing the iPhone, and he goes like this and he scans and everyone goes, "Oh, ah!" I feel like that was Andy Reid in a giant black turtleneck going up there introducing his new toy, and he was like, "Look at this thing we've got now," and everybody's just swooning. The Worthy thing, and the fact that they got the pick from the Buffalo Bills. Is Worthy not going to have about a 300-yard touchdown in Buffalo in the playoffs? You know that's happening.
Oh, my God.
I can't believe he has them.
But I am as big a Xavier Worthy fan that there can be because that moment, I was sitting next to Daniel Jeremiah in the NFL Network Combine booth at the Combine when he broke that record is truly, I'm getting goosebumps because that's truly one of the most exciting moments I've had at any control of any show on NFL Network in the 20-plus years.
You've seen it all.
It is that big. But come on. I mean, Mahomes in shorts throwing like the Zach Wilson pro day throw. I mean, so
another one.
Honestly.
But it's not Zach. It's literally the opposite of Zach Wilson.
I understand that. But the reason why I'm saying the Zach Wilson pro day throw is to say it's not, it's nobody's coming for you. Like there's no real life threat of being put on the turf. And so
let's clip
I
this
just
song
want
and
to
play
Rich,
it back
no.
on the first 80-yard touchdown.
Excuse me. I'm not. When I say this, I'm not one of those who say this won't happen. This can't happen.
Sure.
I'm just saying there's a roll that needs to be slowed a little bit when it comes to that sort of stuff.
Don't you know better than to dance with the Chiefs' kingdom in this way?
Stop.
There is a legendary list of preseason Hall of Famers, though. I still have my Beanie Wells stock from the back in the day. Beanie Wells was Earl Campbell in the preseason for the Cardinals, and that never worked out. So I hope, but Beanie Wells wasn't with Reed and Mahomes in that huddle, so I had to think Worthy might be a little bit different.
But there's no question the Chiefs have a legitimate shot to be a three-peat champion.
Definitely.
And that there's no question they have the talent that's there and they have the drive that's there, because there's no question, right, that Mahomes already, his answer to the Kermit the Frog gate, you know, was what did he say again? You kind of like
it'll be handled when it gets handled.
It'll be handled when it's handled.
The weirdest thing about that is that the guy who does it is Trey Taylor, a rookie defensive back from Air Force.
Yeah, I know.
A serviceman. I don't know if Mahomes is going to be able to handle Trey Taylor when the time comes to play. I don't know if Trey Taylor's going to be out there, but he did handle it. Can I just submit one a potential obstruction for the Chiefs this year?
Okay.
And it ties into something today.
Okay.
I am doing, in a couple hours, I am doing a sit-down interview.
Yes.
With someone who I've never met before, who is very important to this show and this world.
Yes.
I'm sitting down with Jim Harbaugh. Never met him. Don't know him.
Wow.
I was granted 15 minutes.
You're going to love him.
Tell me. I wanted your advice. Like, I don't know him like you know. I only know him from being a fan.
So you only is it sit down? Like
sit down.
Like camera here, camera there.
Yes.
The full Monty.
Everything. Yes.
Are you going to rock the khakis, Cal?
You know what? I was asked that this morning if I should wear khakis and cleats, but then I don't know if that's like, who's this jackass? I've always wearing the khakis. The funniest thing, Rich,
yes,
I have met him sort of informally.
Yes.
In 1991, I was in 6th grade at Daniel Wright Junior High School in Lincolnshire, Illinois. Jim Harbaugh was the quarterback of the Bears. He came to our auditorium to talk to the children there at the junior high school as the Bears quarterback.
Yes.
And I remember precisely one thing from his presentation, and it's classic eccentric Harbaugh. He was trying to show us, all right, kids, here's how you take a snap from the center. And he kneels down and he puts his hands here. And he told us, I'm not making this up, I'm going to clean it up a little too, that you want to put the knuckle of your middle finger in a very specific, very private spot of the center's backside. He told us that. We're all laughing because we're in 6th grade. Years later, I got to talk to Alex Smith, who's Harbaugh's quarterback in San Francisco. He goes, oh, yeah, I know that coaching point. He gave me the same one. He gave you the #1 overall pick. He's telling you put your knuckle up there. So that's all I remember. That's my impression as a 12-year-old all those years ago from Coach.
Are you going to tell Jim that story?
I think I'm going to, as an icebreaker.
Right,
That's all I got.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You have to.
Icebreaker.
By the way,
Moon River.
That's right. That's what they call the positioning of the hand.
Oh, the Moon River.
It's called an icebreaker.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's right. Moon River. How do you got that whole fist in there?
Right.
Oh,
so that's
my
all I got.
God.
I mean, in like a couple hours. It's he and I for 15 minutes.
Here's what I would say. In the past, I would have said, you got to see what the weather is. Is it cloudy? Is it not cloudy?
Yeah.
Not legit, like the figurative.
Sure.
Emotional weather for him, and then take the temperature, and then figure out how off the wall you can be.
I would think now is a positive time, right?
Dude, now he just seems to be like he accomplished the mission in his alma mater.
Yeah.
He is back in the NFL. He's in Southern California. He's paid very handsomely. His family is set, and he's got Justin Herbert in a roster that he loves, and I think he will. Here's what I will predict. I think he will know exactly what you do, who you are. He watches Good Morning Football, which is also a great benefit of you, that you're on a show that everybody loves and everybody in the industry watches and aspires to be on at the breakfast table with you guys in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. I think that will be an excellent entree for you And then at some point, you should tell him the knuckle story, which is how we can refer to it. We can refer to
middle knuckle, middle finger.
But that's I mean, and see how it goes with him.
I will,
because I don't know if you're going to glean it. The one thing that football wise that I really want to know.
Yeah.
It's something that, we just had Joe Ortiz here, and obviously the general manager is not going to give it up no matter how much I might try to chip away at it, is how different is Justin Herbert going to look in this new Harbaugh way of doing things, of smash mouth, protection, fullback, sort of old school way? How does this 21st century millennial quarterback look in it, right? And it's kind of, I think, a pertinent question, potentially silly one, because we saw Kaepernick in an offense like that.
To the Super Bowl.
All right. And Herbert, like, what's he going to look like? And I know we live in a fantasy football world. Everyone wants to know, is he going to break 300 yards every time for me to draft him? Right. I mean, is he not going to have as many touchdown passes because Gus Edwards is going to be smashing it in there, or J.K. Dobbins? I know that's the way a lot of fans are interested in having this conversation framed, but I just want to know. And I can't wait to see it play out. I don't know how it can be gleaned in a conversation.
I'm figuring it out. There's so many places to go with him in a short amount of time, but I do, to bring it full circle on how we got here, I do want to hear him talk about the Chiefs, because in his stops as a head coach, when he shows up, there is a bully waiting for him there, and it's that bully's turf. Stanford, it's the Pete Carroll USC teams. They're running the world. He took them out, blew them out. What's your deal? Goes to Michigan. Obviously, it's Ohio State. He took them out eventually. And now he has the biggest bully he's ever faced. They've won 2 straight Super Bowls. Are the Chiefs his Buckeyes now? Like, do they have to beat the Chiefs? Is it a successful season if they win 11 games and they lose twice to Andy Reid? Like, it's a big one. I want to see what he's got going there.
Yeah, who was his bully, I guess, in San Francisco? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if there was there an NFC team to beat, because it was Seattle, I guess. It was Pete
Carroll, Seattle.
Yeah, right.
That
Seattle
was the early
again.
Seattle. I just think of him almost fighting Jim Schwartz on the field. And when he was with the Lions, that was a wild time. But that's a younger, maybe more volatile Harbaugh. But who knows?
Maybe so. I'll bet you're going to get more than 15 minutes with him. That will be my prediction. So just go and have fun.
I will, man. I can't wait.
Kyle Brandt is still here, hanging out for another segment here on the Rich Eisen Show. And guess what? We're going to kick off this segment with right here. I have
Is it
right
Guess
here.
the Record or something like that?
No,
I watched Swartzen do that. Oh, my gosh.
We could do that if you want. But no,
what do you got?
No, I'm just going to go walk straight through the front door. It is a Good Morning Football overtime promo for the Roku channel.
Even better.
So here we go. Ready?
Let's
the start of the NFL season is just around the corner, people, which makes it the perfect time to stream Good Morning Football overtime. Live daily NFL sports talk right before this show. In fact, you can tune in Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern. Even more good news, it's streaming on the Roku channel, so it's 100% free.
What a clean read!
Ladies and gentlemen.
Come on, Rich. Give me some. Yeah.
One take, Richie.
One little
careful.
hiccup, I broke the microphone.
Careful.
All right, here we go. I'm just so glad to have you read that.
Del Tufo's coming back.
Tufo, fix that.
This is our new, new and improved mic stand. It's not Brandt proof.
This looks expensive. I just did an angry run through your mic, Rich. It's broken.
I got you.
It's on brand. I don't mind it. Oh, look at that. There you go.
Now fix the mic flag, Mike. Now, come on. Now, no. Down. There you go.
I can't see the camera.
All right,
okay, there you go.
Good job,
Thank you.
Mike, great job on it.
I like it. Del Tufo, not afraid of the speed stick. I like it. That's good. Not afraid of it. I like it.
That was a microphone wrecking read of the promo.
I was excited about that read. First time I've heard it. It's good. Very excited to be part of this.
You know what we try to do, although we tried to, we couldn't because she was playing today, Alona Marr. We tried to get her of the U.S. women's rugby team to zoom in while you were here so you could present her with an angry run.
Is that true?
We tried, but she's actually
to do that.
She's actually, if you look to your right, I think she's on right now.
That's right.
I think they're playing right now.
Amazing.
If you've not been watching,
you saw that, right?
My gosh, it's incredible. I saw it, and then I've had 20,000 people send it to me. Women's rugby is dominating Olympics, and you should see the way these women run. They are Marshawn Lynch. They're Derrick Henry, they're all of them. It's a fierce, violent, aggressive style of running. I've already suggested to Roku that instead of Good Morning Football, in addition to Good Morning Women's Rugby, and I want to do that GMWR. It's so good. I want to send the scepter. I want to be part of it. I really love what the women's rugby community is doing. That's my new thing.
You should get the show on it. I'm sure they will. I mean, once she's, I think they just win the bronze?
They just won in a walk-off touchdown over Australia. Bronze
Is that true?
medal.
Is that what happened?
Literally just now.
A try, right? Isn't that what it's called? A try?
Okay.
They said, yeah, they do it like that. That's awesome.
Well,
I love those
what?
ladies.
So is the scepter made of bronze?
The scepter could be made of bronze.
Let's
Yes, we should elevate it. A bronze scepter would be incredible.
Or a gold scepter and a bronze medal. Let's
do all of it. Let's send it, because I mean it's like James Caan and rollerball, like really aggressive, chucking people into the stands. It's awesome.
But it's also a sign of the way that you and the show has gotten into the zeitgeist. I'm like, that's an angry run right there.
Thank you for saying that.
Total angry run.
They shouted it out on NBC. I think it was Siciliano on the air.
Oh, yes.
That's an angry run there.
Yep.
It's gotten to the point, too, where like certain entities do it and they'll just say, so-and-so running angry. And I'm like, what, you know that's me. Don't be taking that. Send me a check or give me an ad or something. I practically branded it, but it's very flattering because so many people send me stuff. I love them.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Is there a witching hour in the gold zone? Has there been one?
Great question. I did see Scott ask for and then receive an Octobox at one point on Gold Zone. So yeah, they're really playing that.
I know you're watching the Gold Zone quite a bit.
Locked in. Cage is locked in the Gold Zone.
It's fantastic.
We were into fencing over the weekend. It was great.
Dude, I do love the Olympic sports that you just don't see on TV.
Yeah.
You know,
Same.
And I was saying pre-show as well, because I did that Tokyo Gold highlight show on Peacock a few summers ago. I'd loved doing archery highlights and the badminton highlights, the shuttlecock moment of the day, like we used to do.
They broke out a magnifying glass in like overtime to see how close it was on the 9 and 10 line.
Yeah, they stopped the action. Somebody gets the Olympic, I guess the IOC has an official. Is there an official, magnifying glass of the Olympics?
Probably
made by like Konica or whatever. I don't know. And because everything's sponsored
down in it, trying to
by
figure
Canon.
out.
That's right.
So what's archery broadcasting? Is it like the golf sort of tone, or is it? I don't even know.
Yeah, there is.
Yes.
But I just when I would do the highlights, I would treat it like it was the Super Bowl.
Hell yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's only one speed.
It's so exciting. I remember you guys used to do highlights of those I don't want to call them morons, but they'd roll the cheese wheel down that hill and they'd go tumbling for that thing in Scotland or something like that. Yeah. And those are the ones that you would treat like it is Santonio Holmes catching the ball from Roethlisberger in the Super Bowl.
Foot down.
Right, with the gravitas of all of that. It's so fun.
As the cheese wheel rolls down the mud slope. Of course. Exactly.
Those imbeciles just falling over heel. I love that sport.
Kyle Brandt here on the Rich Eisen Show. What's the Cowboy season going to look like? What's your best guess? What's your best guess?
Well, it's an even year, so does that mean they lose in the Wild or the divisional? The even years are the divisional, and the odd years are the Wild.
Wasn't Brett Saberhagen that pitcher? Like one year, an odd year, he would win the Cy Young, and the even year would be.
That's exactly right. What a recall! It was Saberhagen and the Royals. Right. It was only the even year. So I don't know. Like, if you played just like Cowboys pin the tail on the donkey, and you're like, what year is it? There's a bunch of contract issues at the beginning of the year. They have a head coach who's a good football man, but maybe not the best coach in the world. And what year is it? I don't know. 2008, 2012, 2024. It's just, I ask it every year, Rich. What is different about this Cowboys team than any that I've seen? And I don't really know. I can't come up with an answer. If there's anybody out there watching who can tell me, no, this one's special. I'm sorry to be so negative. I just, I get a little perturbed by the Cowboys coverage. That's just my thing.
Well, it's maybe not the specialness of the roster that's the difference maker. The thing that is different about it is to see, Jerry Jones's definition of all in.
Right.
And, how I would love to play a poker game by going all in, and then when I lose the hand, say no. My idea of all in is I don't risk my entire stack here. I actually am just saying I'm not supplementing my stack.
Correct.
So, what do you mean you're taking all of my chips?
I know.
Like, so that's the the question, and how will the Cowboys respond to the pressure that Jerry Jones feels he is placing on them by saying you're playing for your right to continue having the star on the side of your helmet, and Dak reluctantly saying just 2 days ago, by prefacing his statement by saying, all right, I'll just go out and say it, him voicing, there's life elsewhere in the NFL outside of Dallas if I need to take it. Like I've Googled other quarterbacks who have left their team.
Damn right.
And there are some pretty big names on the list. So that, to me, is the difference between this Cowboy season potentially and others. And the question is, will it yield a different result?
It's a good point. I remember the last time we spoke, all of us on this show were in Detroit the day of the draft. And I opined at the time that I think the Cowboys should draft a quarterback in the first round. I think they should take Penix and do the thing that the Packers do, or do the thing eventually Stafford moves from the Lions and Cousins moves from the Vikings. And I'm like, let's just start it over. This is hip right now, and it works. Now, they couldn't do that because, of course, the Falcons drafted him under Cousins. But This feels like the breaking point year for everything, for McCarthy, for Dak. They're that species of team, and I think there's a handful of them, where it's like, just get me to the playoffs and let me know what happens. I know you're going to win a bunch of games. Just let me know what happens in those 2 to 3 in January. I would put Baltimore in the same category. We know how good you are. We know you're going to be there. We know you matter. You have a great coach and a great quarterback. All I'm really interested in story-wise in the large scale is, can you win 1, 2, 3 in January? That's kind of the end-all, be-all for you.
So you feel the even year is what? The even year is?
Even year is divisional.
Divisional round.
Yeah,
So
so
that's-
odd was last year's wild.
Yeah. Yep.
So divisional round loss for the Cowboys in the playoffs, which is a great season for most franchises. So be proud of that when it happens. It will. We all know it will.
You all right, TJ? You all right?
The only time I don't like Cow is when he's speaking about the Cowboys like this, because most of the time he turns out to be right, but it still infuriates me, though.
All right. But I mean, I think you've been given the floor to have a rebuttal. I'm waiting for it. I don't hear it.
Notice I haven't said anything,
I know.
right?
It's tough.
It's tough to retort. But,
Yeah, I mean, what can I say?
The answer the Joneses gave frequently over the weekend on Back Together weekend. Okay. That is the number of Pro Bowlers and All Pros that they do have on this all-in roster.
Yes.
And that eventually that should win the day.
Eventually it should.
And that maybe 2024 is the eventually.
That'd be great. It would be fresh. I'm not rooting. I'm actually rooting for it. My son loves the Cowboys. He has a Dak jersey. I grew up Cowboys. They've had a lot of good players for a lot of years. It just ends up not kind of working out. But honestly, I think it's getting boring and tedious to have the Cowboys. I don't think it's fun anymore. Like when they were getting crushed by the Packers, this is lame. I don't like this. Let's have something new. Let's have a fresh story. I'd love a fresh story. I just haven't seen reason to have one yet.
Well, again, in the freshness of the story is the manner in which Jerry Jones is gone into the season managing his roster and his coaching staff, and the Packers' destruction of them is what brought it on, and also the pressures that are even further on top of the Cowboys with Dak's contract made even more intense by the guy who bounced him last year, Jordan Love, signing $55 million.
It's crazy.
Annually. Kyle Brandt here on the Rich Eisen Show. One of the mantles that you have picked up, certainly from Chris Berman, is you're the man in this century who circles the wagons.
In Western New York.
In Western New York.
I know what you're talking about.
Just like, hey, man, I'll never forget the 1 year I've gotten to be honored by the Hall of Fame to host the Big Enchilada, the Saturday induction Saturday.
Yeah.
The 1 year I got to do it is because Berman was asked by Ralph Wilson to introduce him.
Yeah.
And that was the last year that the introductions were delivered in person by speech. So Chris couldn't, even though Chris used to throw to a piece of his on SportsCenter saying, I have more. He couldn't do that to introduce himself for an introduction. Anyway, long story
Rich,
short.
Do you have, what is your Chris Berman nickname?
I have two of them.
What do you got? I don't know. Is it Bad Moon Eisen?
No. One was Rich Betty Davis Eisen.
Oh, okay. Betty Davis Eisen.
He went Kim Carnes. And the others was Beatles, Kaleidoscope Eisen. Rich Kaleidoscope Eisen.
So perfect.
Were my two Berman nicknames bestowed upon me in 1996.
Oh, that's great. Betty Davis and the Beatles. That's great. Big on TikTok for them. This great references.
Kim Carnes, who sang Betty Davis Eyes.
That's awesome.
What were yours? Crocodile
Brockman and Brockman Turner Overton.
Okay. And yours was, which was yours,
I
TJ?
was TJ moving on up Jefferson.
That was
Brockman Turner, Jefferson's, Elton John, Crocodile Rock. These are great.
Crocodile Brockman.
Crocodile Brock's awesome.
That was great.
Okay, that's a life achievement.
They're all classic, man. Like the other day, because I brought up the Yankees losing to the Mets in the first ever Subway Series interleague game. That was
great.
The first Met to score a run was Bernard, innocent until proven guilty.
That's my favorite.
Awesome.
That's my favorite one.
I mean, the classic. I grew up on Jeff Brown Pepper Bagwell, and obviously Eric Sleeping with the Enemy was probably the best one.
Yes. Joe Actual Retail Price was another great one. Bert Be Home by Bly Levin. Jim Two Silhouettes on Deshays.
One of my earliest remembrances was, Jose, why don't you let me take you on a sea cruise?
That's right. Very good one. That said, you have picked up the Berman mantle of being the Buffalo Bills fan of national NFL media.
That's right.
What do you think of the Bills this year, though? Everyone thinks that it's time to get them, that they're going to get got. What do you think?
There's a lot of that. I have a comp for the Bills this year. Okay.
Yeah.
So not a lot of receivers going around, some really good tight ends, a very good Sean McDermott defense. My comp is going to be the 2015 Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton MVP season, playing like one of the Avengers, best player in the world, free, loose, cocky, defense with McDermott, all the way to the Super Bowl. I think everyone sees, well, Diggs is gone and Gabe Davis is gone, and that's 180 catches out of the huddle. That's a lot. I understand it. I respect to those guys. Josh Allen is not a product of Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be better than fine. In fact, Rich, MVP voters like nothing if they don't like a story. A story and a character arc. And the fact that Josh Allen finally has this amazing season after losing his wide receivers, after the disappointments in the playoffs, I think this is the year, and I mean it.
Well, he showed his range already, I believe, with Mike Robb on Back Together Weekend. Did you hear he dropped a Billy Joel reference?
I did.
Did you hear that? He referenced The Stranger.
I know. His music taste is very, very old-fashioned. It's like Chris Berman. Like, it's like he goes back, like he listens to Elvis before games. Like, not even Elvis Costello, like Elvis Presley.
No kidding.
He likes the oldies, and he likes Journey, and he likes all that stuff. And I think he's a farm kid growing up, and I think he respects the past. But he is literally dating a pop star whose music is out there and for this generation. But he's going with scenes from an Italian restaurant.
I didn't expect it. I didn't.
Me neither. But that's his deal.
Didn't expect it.
What's the one Olympic sport you think you could be good at?
Well, we were watching it during the break. I can handle a bow and arrow. I really can, because there's no cardio involved. There's no youth. I would think that an 80-year-old could also fire a bow and arrow well. I remember I went on vacation once, and we were in South America. Two friends and I just cutting it up, and there was a bar, and they would never do this in the United States, where they had an archery range in the bar. So you could have like 3 pitchers or a Malbec or whatever you're drinking down in Argentina, and then you could just go fire some arrows. And I got on a heater at one point, and I was just bullseye. Was like a Legolas, or just bam. So I feel like if you got me sufficiently drunk, I could compete in the archery. Yes.
Interesting. So, but that's not an Olympic sport. Drunk archery.
Oh no,
archery's an Olympic sport. So the sport that I would be great at if it was an Olympic sport is 2-bounce tennis. Oh. If you gave me a second bounce,
you can get to it.
Oh, I could close.
So they're going to drop shot you at the net. You can get to it. Though.
I can get to it.
2 bounce.
I can close. You give me a second bounce, I'm gold medal. Seriously, 2-bounce tennis. Give me and obviously that also means the doubles lanes are open as well. Because if it's a second bounce, you give me the extra real estate.
The court,
it expands the court, but I'd still be able to close. Give me a second bounce.
On the next court, I'm going to be doing no lob shots allowed tennis, because I'm just at the net every single point. If you have a decent lob, you will beat me 6-0. All I'm doing up there is smashing up there. So no lob tennis allowed. I think I could represent this country.
No lob tennis, 2-bounce tennis, drunk archery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go.
We're getting it. We're putting it together.
Gina Davis almost made the Olympics.
Gina Davis was an archer.
Yeah, she was an archer. archer.
Did she really?
Yeah.
There's no crying in archery either,
I don't
right?
think so.
I bet there's pictures of that. Like she was doing the accidental tourist and all, and then she'd show up with a bow and arrow, and we're like, "Is that the lady from Beetlejuice? What are we doing?"
By the way, our radio audience rejoined just as you said. Is it the lady from Beetlejuice? We're referring to Gina Davis, everybody.
Yeah, talented woman.
She almost made
Kyle
the
Brandt
2000
still here.
Olympics.
You know what it's like? It's like people who are given two skills, like Justin Tucker is the best kicker and he's an opera singer.
Yes.
Gina Davis, an archer and an incredible actress.
Yeah.
Cutthroat Island notwithstanding. That's awesome.
Mike Del Tufo's got two incredible talents. One is what you do professionally. You're a multi-Emmy Award winner.
Yes.
And he has an incredible talent of every photograph he posts on Instagram gets it around the same number of likes, about 450 likes. Almost as if it's
Automated.
Like,
Yeah.
Listen, you know I'm against saying things that are rigged when you can't prove that they're rigged.
Sure.
You know, like that's an allegory for the modern times right now. But that's a talent. Like
450 is the sweet spot.
Right around every single time. And like I will post out something, you know, and I've got a bunch of followers. Look, here's his schmoey friend, with all due respect. These are his records that he gave to his friend, okay?
That's just part of them.
All right?
That's the vinyl
And
vault.
it's a photograph that his friend sent him. Like his friend's not even framed up. You can't even tell what these. It's just pictures of albums.
Yeah,
Look how
what
many
you gotta
likes.
do. You gotta tell. You
Look at
gotta
that.
tag Steppenwolf, and then they'll know that they're in there. You gotta tag Foghat.
See, he doesn't know it. He doesn't know it. He just like, hey, here's a friend. Here's a picture my friend sent me of things that you have no concept what they really are.
No,
Boom.
you gotta do it.
Right
Tag
around
Mike and the
450
mechanics.
likes.
Come on.
That's a little low. It was a little low.
By the way, Mike, this is great. Your last four pictures.
Give it to us.
417.
Yep.
445.
Yeah.
443.
Yeah.
454. 431.
Tell me
That's
that's not a
uncanny.
talent.
That's
Tell me that's not a
unbelievable.
talent. That's like Gina Davis's acting is his sound engineering.
Yes.
And her archery is his uncanny ability to get the same number of likes no matter what he's posting.
450. Bam.
Bullseye.
Do you ever
Bullseye.
test it? Like if you were to do like just like a crazy like nude picture of yourself.
We did it. Excuse me.
For
We took the same photograph. I came over.
Yes.
We took a selfie, and all four of us posted it independently on our separate Instagram accounts with our different levels of followers.
This one right here.
Okay, this is Del Tufo got 667. And by the way, Smitchapalooza is Sean Mitchell of our digital producer, coordinating producer of All Things Digital.
So good.
I don't know why he would boost the level like that. Why would he put his thumb on the scale? Did he like all of our photos?
I would imagine so.
One of those comments said, I used both of my accounts and I liked it twice. So there's a little ballot stuffing, guys. There's a hanging Chad.
Something's up.
That's not fair play.
So
I want to go after this interview, Rich. I'm just going to like all Del Tufo's posts. All of them. I can't wait.
451.
Yes. I'm in.
You see, that'll be your comment. I'm like 451.
Yeah.
I don't have 451 likes on everything I posted this year.
Yeah, well, that's a
combined.
different problem. I hear that, man.
All right. Matt Eberflus has spoken.
Okay. What's he got?
He's got pomade. He's
so
got a
good.
tight beard.
Yep.
This guy, man. He has spoken about what the Bears' approach to the Hall of Fame game is going to be on Thursday night in Canton, Ohio. We're going to see Caleb. Who are we going to see? Who's playing? Matt?
Big news for today. Starters are not playing in the Hall of Fame game. We feel really good where they are right now in terms of the pads practices we had. We've had 3 so far, and then have another one tomorrow. And have a lot of good work, 1s-on-1s, 2s-on-2s, and a lot of good situations. We got a head start there because we are in the Hall of Fame game, which I think is very fortunate for us this year to be able to add those reps, time on task, as we say, to our football team. So we're super excited about that.
So there you go. So to all the pageantry, the hot air balloon contest, and the hoopla, you can add the Tyson Bagent coming out party.
Love Tyson Bagents. We can talk arm wrestling again. We can talk over the top, all
can.
of that stuff.
Here he comes.
It's occurring to me as I'm watching Eberflus. He is such a nice man. He's a football lifer. He's a man of faith, a family man. He's about to be a star on HBO. He's about to be one of the main faces of that network. And I have to tell you, looking at the hair, and He has like just slight Paulie Walnuts vibes. I was trying to think of his HBO comp, and there's not. HBO comp. What's his HBO comp? Was it somebody from the Curb universe? Does he have a little Funkhauser in him? But he has some Paulie Walnuts, and that's good. It's a very likable character. I like that.
So then, who was his comp when we first saw him as the coach? Look at the difference in the two guys. Introduction day, and now the present day.
Yeah, he looks like a Brian Ben from Dream On back in the 90s. That's a deep cut for the kids. I don't know if you know that one. But it's, I think...
Mr. Madeline Stowe, if you really want to go deeper.
That's exactly... Wait, Ben-Ben's married to Madeline Stowe, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
Oh, that's really, really cool.
Yeah. He looks like an extra in Succession, maybe, on the left.
Which character in Succession?
Just like an extra. Yeah. Just like a random board member.
Yeah.
His demeanor, though, he's really agreeable and positive. He's got a little bit of Jeff from Curb, the Jeff Garland. It's like, oh, it'll be great. It'll be great. Like, he's always up for anything. Very, very contagious energy from Eberflus. I like that.
I do like him.
I do, too. I was last summer, I got to meet him in person when not a lot of talk about the Bears last year, very low profile, incredibly hospitable to me, to my family. So that's just the personal part of it. I like the way he coaches. I like the way he has this Bears defense playing. And I like the way they've managed the whole team this whole offseason. I think Eberflus is going to become a much more popular name recently.
I sat to his right at a dinner at this year's Combine. Ryan Poles was to his left. I was to his right. And somebody went up to Ryan Poles and Schefter, who was there as well, I believe, and asked, was an elderly gentleman, pointed at me and asked that they were having a conversation at their table. Is that man, meaning me, Rich Eisen or Ryan Gosling? And the way Eberflus handled it just shows you he has grace under pressure.
Come on.
That actually happened.
Someone thought that you were Ken from Barbie?
Somebody thought I was either me or Ryan Gosling. Yes. Like there you go. Like these are the choices people have in life. And no one can ever take this moment away from me.
That's a great comp. Does anybody ever go up to Gosling and be like, I used to love you on SportsCenter. You were so good.
You had hair?
Yeah. What happened, Gosling? He's I changed what I know. I work with LA. I work for Roku now. But that's really cool.
The Bears is kind of going, come on. When you first
come on. Ryan Poles was going.
By the way, nothing, not even that changed his poker face.
Oh, really?
Yes. That's how cool under pressure Ryan Poles is as well. They both were like, and I'm like, wait, say that again? Mm-hmm. Really? Excuse me? Mm-hmm. That actually happened in Indianapolis, Indiana. God bless that city. Dude, this has been a lot of fun.
Always fun. This is really cool. Listen, I have watched so many times when anybody from Bryan Cranston to Arnold Schwarzenegger to Larry David have been in this chair. I always love it. It's very cool to be here. Buddy. And Rich, you've always been unbelievably generous to Good Morning Football. Like, you are truly the godfather, so thank you so much.
I really greatly appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. All right, we have about 3 minutes left in the segment.
Oh, man, here we go.
Come on. I need the music, Mike Del Tufo. Kyle Brandt.
You know what's coming.
Win-loss game.
Chicago I already know the
Bears.
first one. Okay.
Home against the Tennessee Titans.
Win over Will Levis. Win.
At the Houston Texans.
Now we got the national wake-up call. 2-0, they beat the darling Texans.
Woo! At the Colts.
3-0, they beat the Colts.
Oh, yeah.
Home for the Los Angeles Rams.
They lose to McVay. McVay's the best coach in the world. They lose to McVay.
Home for the Panthers.
Oh, they're going to beat the Panthers by 4 touchdowns.
Thanks for Caleb as well.
Yes.
Then they're in London against the Jaguars.
Caleb is an international sensation. He will win against the Jaguars, even though it's a home game for them.
They go into the bye 5-1 and come out at the Commanders.
I like the Commanders this year. Not enough to beat the Bears. 6-1, Rich.
At the Cardinals, Kyle Brandt.
You know what? I love the Cardinals. Toughest 4-win team I've ever seen last year. I think the Cardinals upset the Bears in this game.
6-2. They are who we thought they were.
That's right.
Okay. Home for the Patriots.
What a pull. The Denny Green, we let him off the hook. The Patriots, they'll definitely beat the Patriots. I don't like the Pats this year.
7-2. Home for the Packers.
This is the big one. I think they're going to lose this game. I think that Jordan Love beats them.
7-3, home for the Vikings.
Bounce back game. The Vikings have struggles this year. Bears beat the Vikings.
8-3, kicking off the John Madden celebration in Detroit on Thanksgiving Day.
They've beaten the Detroit teams when Nagy was there, when Trubisky was there, when Fields was there. They'll do it when Caleb there.
Whoa.
Yes. Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 3 at the Niners.
Stay focused. They lose at the Niners. Tough draw there. They lose at the
9
Niners.
9 and 4 at the Vikings on a Monday night.
They're going to beat the Vikings again on Monday Night Football. Go!
10 and 4 home for the Lions.
Beat the Lions again. Again 2-0 against the Lions.
Sweeping the Lions.
Yes.
11 and 4 home for the Seahawks on the final Thursday nighter of the year.
12 and 4.
Yes! At the Packers.
They go into Lambeau and win 13 and 4.
Come on!
13 and 4.
1 seed.
Stop the clock.
Brandt.
Yeah, and they may be the number 1 overall seed. 13 and 4. Oh my gosh. What did I just say? They're going to split with the Packers. I don't know. What team are we talking about?
You say they're sweeping the Lions.
Yes.
Sweeping the Packers.
And no, they're splitting with the Packers.
The Packers sweeping the Vikings.
Sweep Viking.
Beating the Texans. I have them losing to San Francisco, to the Cardinals.
And the Rams.
And the Rams. That's fine. 13 and 4. God, I love that game. It's exhilarating. I can do it for every team.
Everyone
Let's do it
gets
32
lost.
times, Rich.
Everyone gets lost.
Yes.
And everybody, we have yet to see somebody say, we lose to the Titans. Everybody sees the Titans as a homecoming, and I would push back on that.
Titans and Pats.
Yeah, I do like Will Levis a lot. Week 1 at home, you got to beat the Titans if you're this new Bears team. You got to beat that.
Kyle Brandt, everybody check him out on Good Morning Football every single day on NFL Network at 8 Eastern Time and then at 10 Eastern Time. Overtime version of the show right here on the Roku channel. The Miz is coming up. Still here on the Roku channel for another minute plus. So, yeah, when people play the win-loss game, they kind of get caught up in the middle of it.
Cheering starts.
And then realize midway through that it's a little too optimistic, and then they'll pull back. Yeah, then some losses just need to balance it out. And it's that real-time balancing act. You know,
when I do it, I feel like Howard Dean. You know, we're gonna beat the Texans, and we're gonna beat the Packers, and we're going to New Orleans to win the Super Bowl. Yeah! Like I get excited when I do it.
Of course, back in his day, that immediately disqualified him.
Done.
Right?
We can't have his finger with the nuclear codes beneath it, so he's done. He was just out. Now it would be applauded.
Different times when just a weird squawk would end somebody's campaign.
It was a wrap.
Now, nothing seems to.
No, we know that. Stick to sports, everybody. Never.
Hashtag
never.
Oh, my God. All right, the Miz is about to come out here.
Old friend of mine.
So enjoy your time with Harbaugh.
I can't wait.
And enjoy, I mean, it's amazing, man, that there's that stadium. The NFL Network's across from a stadium. The Chargers have now moved in here. The Rams are up where they shot MASH back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Los Angeles in the NFL. It's unbelievable.
It is pretty cool. In Las Vegas, and we're just we're in South America now, Rich.
That's right.
All over the place.
We're going everywhere. Again, Kyle Brandt, say hi to everybody back at the shop. You'll be back there before I will be. And check out Good Morning Football Overtime right here every day, 2 hours before this show. It's his show.
Yes.
Then this show. All together under one Roku channel umbrella. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Yeah, and if you can indulge me in a plug, Del Tufo's Instagram is great. Go ahead and just like everything. It's very C- content over and over if that's what you like.